You know that feeling that you get that you probably shouldn't be doing something, but then you do it anyway? That's how I felt about doing a crafted items only playthrough, which I decided to do a few months ago, but finally got around to making this video. As always, my name is Z, and welcome to the Dark Chronicles of Diablo. I'm making myself suffer by playing a crafted items only playthrough on hardcore. Let's jump into this chaos and see if the juice was worth the squeeze. I created my character and appropriately named him Crafted Only, as that's what I will be doing this run. My rules are simple. No dying as it's hardcore mode, crafted items only, and I must craft all of my own gear. I threw out my useless white items the game starts me with and headed into the Blood Moor. I selected a druid as I'll be mostly naked through all of normal, and it seemed like one of the least painful classes to do. I put the game on players 8 and started killing everything I can see for fast experience. I slam all of my points into Poison Creeper, as that is the most overpowered skill in the game for a druid in Act 1 normal mode. I do the Den of Evil and put my level 6 skill into Werebear for more life when I need it. Now let's take a quick second here to recap what it can actually loot that is useful. No uniques, no set items, no rune words, and no rares will be used in this playthrough. Looting rubies, amethysts, sapphires, and emeralds are useful in the crafting recipes. Jewels are also helpful as they're used in every single recipe. The runes Tear through Soul are used in crafting. Anything other than these 10 runes are completely useless. I'm allowed to put anything into sockets, but I will realistically only have 2 socket quests, Normal and Nightmare, to use making my way through the game. Now that I've gone through the painful experience that I'm embarking on, I get to Bloodraven as quick as possible, as I need a mercenary to help me do more damage. The rules apply to the mercenary too, so I will need to craft gear for them later as well. I make my way to the Countess, not because I can actually use the runes to make gear at this point, but because I can get great experience here, and the runes will be useful for later. I find my way to Endariel, and the Poison Creeper made quick work of her. The boss loot drops are usually a very exciting part of my Diablo 2 playthroughs, but they are rather useless when you can only use crafted gear. I make my way to Act 2 and grab a prayer mercenary. Durga will help me quite a bit in normal. I cruise over to the Halls of the Dead. I need the Heraldric Cube for all of my future crafting. The Claw Viper Temple is always a pain, but imagine fighting Fangskin naked. Not the most reassuring thought, is it? I realized I forgot to kill Radamant and backtracked to beat him for a bonus skill point reward. I'm gonna need all the help I can get for getting stronger. The Maggot Lair was pretty straightforward without any issues. The Duriel fight was easy, but I had to return to town a few times to revive Durga, as he and the Poison Creeper were my only real sources of damage. Act 3 was fairly straightforward. The Poison Creeper and Durga killed everything, and I sat back and looked pretty. Without any gear, I kept pumping points into Poison Creeper to keep the vine strong, but I know this build falls off fairly fast outside of normal mode. I collected the eye in the Spider Cavern and found a godly 25 lightning resist Grand Charm. I collected the brain in the Flayer dungeon and the heart in the sewers level 2. I'd been pumping 100% of my stats into Vitality, as strength and dexterity are not needed when you cannot wear any gear. The Travancore fight was mostly me pulling them out one by one, and Durga and the Poison Creeper taking them down. Using this strategy allowed me to kill all 3 council members without dying myself. In hardcore, with no gear, you need to play defensively, and with a good strategy at all times. I smashed the compelling orb and wandered down to kill Mephisto. He has a bunch of range attacks which worried me, but I kept my distance and stayed near a town portal just in case I needed to make a quick escape to town. Now, Act 4 I was really excited about. The Hellforge quest always gives you a perfect gem, which I had a 57% chance to get one that would be used in a crafting recipe. That's 4 out of 7 if you can't do math. It also drops a flawless gem or two, which I could upgrade to a perfect gem via gem shrines, so this meant that I could make 2 pieces of gear potentially. I ended up getting a perfect amethyst and a flawless ruby, both of which are crafting gems. Amethysts would be used for caster recipes, and rubies would be used for blood recipes. I crafted a caster amulet and ended up getting my first item. In hindsight, I probably should have crafted a belt first, as that would have opened up more potion slots for future encounters. I went back to Act 1 and used my Den of Evil respec to change my build into a summon druid. I put my points into Spirit Wolves, Dire Wolves, and got an Oak Sage and Ravens. This would be a safer build when fighting the harder bosses to come. I backtracked with my new build and found Iswal for my 2 skill points. I got another level or 2 and cleared the Chaos Sanctuary and fought Diablo. Usually in my hardcore playthroughs, I try to get 60% or higher lightning and fire resist before fighting Diablo in normal, as he can be extremely challenging for a weak new character. Without gear, this would be impossible, so I used my summons as shields and jumped back to town whenever my health got low. Diablo eventually went down, thankfully, without ending my run. Now, Act 5 is where my hardcore playthroughs get strong. If you can beat Diablo, this is where the game gets easy for a little while. You can farm Eldritch Surrectifier over and over again for lots of experience. You can get up to level 35 to 40-ish this way. You can stop farming him whenever you feel you're strong enough to continue. I remembered my flawless ruby and backtracked to Act 1 and made a few dozen games checking shrines until I got a gem shrine. If you have 1 gem in your inventory and you click a gem shrine, it upgrades it to the next level. So I only kept the flawless ruby in my inventory to get a perfect ruby. I used the blood boots recipe to create these boots. I welcomed the life, replenish life, and lightning resist that they came with, but I didn't have the strength to use them quite yet. I ventured onwards and rescued Anya for 10 to all resistances. This would help on my fight with Bale later on. The Ancients fight is very easy on normal mode, especially with a summon druid. I was able to sit back and watch my wolves and bear kill the Ancients one by one, while I sat back and watched. If any animals died, I would recast them safely. Let's chat for a quick second about the strategy at this point. I'm going to continue to level as a summon druid until I feel the damage falls off. I'm going to craft a piece of gear for every slot and then refine my gear as I'm going to ensure survival. My priorities are max life, fire and lightning resist, and any integer damage reduction gear I can craft. I worked my way to Bale and he was easy, but took a while for my zoo to take him down bit by bit. The boss drops are usually so exciting, but on this playthrough, anything good that drops is just gold for me to repair with or resurrect my mercenary. Even if a godly item such as Mara's Kaleidoscope drops, I have to sell it. I can't use it. Great. I'm now a destroyer. I have 2 more difficulties to go if I can even survive this challenge. I decide I need some gear as I beat normal mode with only an amulet and a pair of boots. I farm gem shrines in normal mode to upgrade a few gems to craft more items later. At level 37, I begin Nightmare mode and do my first save and exit in the Catacombs level 1. That was close. I find Andariel at level 39 and make quick work of her with my wildlife homies. I craft a belt and a ring and farm Nightmare Countess for runes for other crafting recipes. I end up crafting a safety weapon recipe for a weapon for my mercenary. I used a war fork. I made a caster wand for myself and a body armor as well. At this point, I have 6 items on myself and my mercenary is 1. I'm feeling a bit better about my progress. I kill Nightmare Radamant, grab the staff from the maggot lair, and kill Fangskin and grab my amulet. Duriel in Nightmare was easier than normal mode, as my army could keep him in place and I didn't have to retreat to town. I collected the eye in the spider cavern in Nightmare, and crafted a caster shield, which rolled decent affixes such as lightning resist and poison resist. The brain and heart were easy to find and acquire, and I made my way to Travancore. Hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I did the same strategy as normal mode of luring them out one by one and letting my army kill them individually. This proved to be successful, and I made my way to Mephisto. As soon as I walked into the Durance, there was a gem shrine. Don't mind if I do. I crafted a caster body armor and gave my mercenary the blood body armor I had initially. I did the Mephisto fight the same as normal, where I kept my distance and hugged a town portal. He went down without an issue, and I moved on to Act 4. Act 4 ended up being a massive pain in the ass. I found a fanaticism pack, which didn't kill me, but then I ran into a pack of souls, which made me save and exit. I made a new game and ran to the Plains of Despair just to find another pack of souls, which almost ended my run. Third time being the charm, I found Iswal and took him down for my 2 skill points. I really hate souls and dolls in Hardcore. They're worse than watching Jersey Shore. I made my way to the Hellforge, hoping to grab some more gems to craft with. And Hephasto ended up having Fanaticism, which is a terrible aura to fight against. The 3 auras I really don't like to see enemies have are Fanaticism, Conviction, and Might. The Hellforge dropped a freaking Ko-rune, which I would have been super pumped about for any other playthrough. It was useless, dude, on this one, and I was so bummed. The perfect gem was a Topaz, which also is useless for crafting. Jesus. The Flawless, Amethyst, and Sapphire were the highlight of this quest reward, which tells a lot about what happened. I crafted a safety helm, which brings my items to 8 out of 10 slots filled on my character. The Diablo fight was easy, as I shifted into Werebear, which put my health around 1100, and I let my army whittle down Diablo slowly. I could retreat to town if things got scary and resummon my army. No close calls here, and I moved on to Act 5. Again, Frigid Highlands is probably my favorite spot. I farmed Eldritch quite a few levels before continuing on. I rescued Anya and Nightmare without any issues. Another plus 10 resist all is great for getting me closer to max resists for Nightmare. If you aren't aware, Nightmare has a negative 40 resistance penalty for your character, and Hell has a negative 100 resistance penalty. This means you need 115 resists all in Nightmare to cap your resistances, and 175 resists all in Hell to cap your resistances there. The Ancients were easy. Same strategy as normal mode, except I threw a bunch of potions on the ground before the fight started, just in case I needed more. I let the zoo take care of the Ancients while I stayed back and resummoned any animal that died. Bale was easy, as my zoo just swarmed him, but of all the act bosses, he has the highest block chance. Physical builds have a hard time doing damage to him, and he took a while to kill. He also has the most health of any act boss and doesn't deal a ton of damage. I slowly whittled him down to nothing and completed Nightmare mode at level 59. Here is a gear review and stat review if you wanted to take a look. You've already seen the gear as I've crafted it, but here it is again just in case you missed it. I decided I wanted more safety instead of straight damage, so I hired a Holy Freeze mercenary. I mustered up the cojones to do Hell Den of Evil for the +1 skill point, but definitely didn't want to start Hell yet as I was a low level and I had super low resistances. I decided with my Hell Den respec to go Wind Druid. The rationale here was that it had 2 damage types, physical and cold. The Cyclone armor would be good at absorbing lightning, cold, and fire damage, and the Oak Sage would provide me with a lot of health. I crafted a Blood Helm to round out my mercenary's 3rd item slot, so now he had full items. I crafted my 2nd ring and my glove to complete all item slots on my druid. I then crafted a 3rd ring to see if I could replace one of my 2 crappy rolled rings. I ran some Nightmare cows to get some gems, and then I crafted another ring which wasn't great. The Terror Zone switched to Worldstone Keep, and I got super excited. This would be a phenomenal place to level. I entered the waypoint, got about 15 feet, and noped the hell out of there. I farmed more gems and crafted another belt which replaced my first one. I then made a new game, actually farmed the Worldstone Keep for a few levels. The next time I got to play, I got ridiculously lucky and the frigid highlands was terrorized. I ran my best friend Eldritch for about an hour and got plenty of levels. I farmed Nightmare Terrorized Pit and got level 69, which is my favorite level because I'm a child. Tal Rasha's Tomb was terrorized, which is one of the best terror zones in the game for leveling. As you can see here, I ran into a double Ghoul Lord pack, which was incredibly hard to fight. They kept healing as they heal when they deal damage, and my damage was not keeping up as well as I would have liked with their health pool. This is a good opportunity to talk about my future plan. My plan is to keep crafting items and hope that I get more and more resistances. Without rune words or uniques, my resistances are a struggle to obtain before entering hell. My priority is lightning and fire resists, as you can drink thawing potions from vendors for 50 cold resists, and you can get antidote potions from vendors for 50 poison resists. I had cubed 2 perfect diamonds just in case I need to use them in a shield with sockets for more resistances. The goal is to craft a shield with 1 to 2 natural sockets via the mechanics affix, or to craft a shield with good resistances to all and socket it and place a perfect diamond in it for 19 to all resistances. I survived the tombs and crafted new boots with great cold resistances and a new mercenary armor, a crappy belt, and an amazing amulet. Dude, this amulet is the best item I crafted. 19 to all resists, bunch of energy and dexterity, and increased blocking. I crafted a crappy barbed shield, a Luna, a ward shield, and a kite shield, and I sold them all to the vendor for some gold. I realized my mercenary's weapon was utter trash, and I need to upgrade it. The more damage he does, the more life leech he has, and the better he will survive. I need an elite spear base, but I hadn't found one naturally doing terror zones. I started gambling for one, as I was a decent level at this point. If you didn't know, the chances of gambling in an elite base are based on your level. So the item level that you gamble is anywhere from 4 levels below your character to 5 levels above your character level. The probability formula for getting an elite base gambling is item level minus quality level, then multiplied by 0.33, then you add 1. So if I'm trying to get a Hyperion Spear, which is a fixed quality level of 58, if I'm using a level 70 Druid, and the item rolls exactly on my level for easy math, it would be level 70 minus level 58, which is the quality level, which equals 12. Multiply that by 0.33, or basically take a third of that, which is 4, and then add 1. So the probability of me getting a Hyperion Spear via gambling at this point is about 5%. All that explaining, and yes, I did gamble one. I crafted it for my mercenary, and it only rolled 20% enhanced damage, but it was still a massive upgrade for him. I crafted another crappy shield, and an armor, which I ended up actually using, as a 21% fire resistance and some life. I really need to pump up my fire and lightning resists. I crafted 2 more crappy shields until I found the shield that saved my run. This Luna was exactly what I needed. I don't care about the paladin skills or the strength or all that other shit. The plus 12 to all resistances meant that if I punched a socket into this and put a perfect diamond in it, I would have 31 resist all, which would be huge for surviving hell. So, naturally, that's exactly what I did. Now, I only had 1 socket quest remaining after using that one on the shield. I measured my resistances in hell and decided that if I put an Ort rune into either my helm or my body armor, I would get 35 more lightning resists and I'd have near max lightning and fire resist in hell. As I said before, I could supplement the other 2 with consumables. Alright, I'm ready. Let's do this. I got this. Insert more pump up lines here or whatever, but dude, I'm scared shitless. I go through Act 1 hell with my ghetto gear and fight Indariel. I use my bear and mercenary as tanks and pummel her with some tornadoes. She easily kills them both and chases my ass around. A few trips to town, and I do end up defeating her. 1 act down, 4 to go. And a lot riding on this playthrough. I have an insane fight at the Claw Viper Temple with a bunch of snakes. They're immune to cold, so my Hurricane doesn't really do anything against them. I'm strategically using my Mercenary and Bear to try to position myself to have tornadoes hit them while staying a safe distance away. Dude, I'm very nervous at this point. As this crafted only playthrough, I did not think I would get this far, and we're now getting towards the end of Act 2. I fight Duriel, and I have about 2,000 health with my Oak Sage up. I keep my Bear and Mercenary alive, trying to tank him as much as possible, while I spam tornadoes into his face. With crafted only gear, my faster cast rate is very low, as the max you can even get with perfect rolls is 70%. I believe I have 20% at this point, and Duriel goes down eventually. And I'm now 2 acts down and 3 away from the finish line. I'm still very nervous, as I know a lot of hard challenges around the corner, but I continue on. Act 3 has some spicy encounters, but I turtle crawl my way through the jungles. I grab the eye after fighting some tough bugs, which almost kill me with poison damage. I ran into an elite pack of Bramble Hulks, along with a champion pack of Bramble Hulks in the same freaking group. This almost ended my run, as you can see me riding the struggle bus really hard. The elite had lightning enchanted, cold enchanted, and cursed, so I had amp damage on me the entire fight. I ended up winning, and I continue onwards. I grab the brain with no issues. I then find the super unique monster Stormtree, and he's triple elemental enchanted. He is fire enchanted, lightning enchanted, and cold enchanted. He's also naturally immune to cold, and seems to want to kick my ass all the way back to the Bloodmoor. I reroute around him and decide that fighting him, the juice is not worth the squeeze, and I hightail it out of there. The heart was easy to obtain. I didn't run into too many dolls, which I was thankful for. Those bastards have ended so many of my hardcore runs. Speaking of dolls, I had to save an exit in the Durance of Hate. I made it to the Durance of Hate level 3 and encountered a champion Bloodlord pack, which ended up being a massive pain in the ass. It took a while to defeat them, as you can see. But I don't like super spicy fights like these, especially when I'm fairly close to achieving my goal. Mephisto actually wasn't too tough. As you can see, when I'm spamming tornadoes into him, I actually do decent damage. He was kind of like a tank and spank. Act 4 started off rough, when I walked into a ton of monsters, which made me nope the hell out of there. I tried again and ran into a different group of enemies that made me retreat as well. Just like with Nightmare, the third time was the charm, and I fought Iswal and took him down fairly easily. This might have been one of the easier fights of the run. I didn't even do the Hellforge quest, as I just wanted to plow through the rest of the game and finish this challenge run. I had a tiny taste of the sweet drips of heaven that I would have if I completed this challenge. I just had Diablo, Ancients, and Bale left. I could do this, I could feel it. The Chaos Sanctuary wasn't a big deal, I just took it slow and made intelligent decisions. Diablo time! I used Bear, Oak Sage, and my Mercenary and kept spamming Tornado and Cyclone Armor every time I felt like it was getting low. I did not want to take any elemental damage from Diablo as he hurts. My friends ended up dying, but I pulled off the win and ran to town and headed to Act 5. I didn't even bother farming Eldritch for some levels. I had 2 bosses to go to complete this challenge. I rerolled the Ancients a few times to get proper affixes and started the fight. This fight took about 20 minutes. I took down Modok and Korlik and used all of my mana potions, and only had a few health potions left for Talik. My Mercenary was dead, my Bear was getting destroyed too fast to waste the mana on recasting him. I had a strategy where I'd run around and regen enough mana to cast a 10 mana tornado in Talik's direction, and repeated it until he died. This took about 100 or so tornadoes, I don't even know how many it took, but it felt like forever. I had to really rely on my own mana regeneration to slowly cast a spell every once in a while running away the entire fight. 1 fight left. Bale. Adrenaline was pumping, and I could feel my journey coming to an end one way or another. I would either die shortly or be victorious. Either way, my suffering would end and I would be done this nutty challenge. I ventured into the Worldstone Keep and quickly got a taste of humble pie as I had to save an exit. I made it through the Worldstone Keep and through the Bale waves and ending up fighting Bale himself. I could not do much damage to him. He kept blocking my tornadoes, and this fight took way too long. I don't remember how long, but it was probably close to half an hour and like 60 town portals. I was in agony with how much adrenaline I had going through me and how close I was to winning this challenge. I wanted to win so badly, and I knew with the right combo, Bale could probably kill me. All he had to do was take out my Oak Sage and then hit me with a few spells and I probably would have been dead. Hell yeah! I did it! I defeated Bale, the Lord of Destruction. I completed all difficulties in Diablo 2 with only crafted gear on hardcore mode. Alright, here are my stats and gear. I completed this challenge at level 81. I maxed out fire and lightning resistances. When I drank thawing potions, my cold resist was maxed as well, which you can see on the screen now. My real cold resist is 26%, but with the thawing potion to fight Bale, it shows up as 76%. I had 20% faster cast rate and only 12% faster hit recovery. I had a little under 2100 health and about 260 mana. Here's my mercenaries gear and my ending gear. I am now a guardian. Thanks for watching. Please drop a comment below and recommend a new challenge for me. I have the next one going currently, so pray to the sanctuary gods that I make it to the end. Alright, on to the next one. Z out. Peace!